Does artificial intelligence expand human freedom or quietly narrow it? When machines can write, design, analyze, and even decide faster than we can, it sounds like liberation. Less repetitive work, more time, more possibility. But freedom is not just about time. It's about agency, control, the ability to shape your own path. So as AI becomes part of daily life and work, a deeper question emerges. Are we becoming more autonomous or more dependent? Right now, AI systems are being integrated into nearly every sector of the economy. In offices, generative AI drafts emails, summarizes meetings, writes code, creates marketing copy, and analyzes data. In logistics, algorithms optimize delivery routes. In finance, automated systems detect fraud and manage portfolios. In healthcare, AI assists with diagnostics and administrative tasks. Large technology firms are investing heavily in foundation models. Startups are building specialized AI tools for legal work, accounting, education, and design. At the same time, companies are restructuring teams around automation, sometimes reducing headcount, sometimes redefining roles. Productivity tools that once required expertise are becoming accessible through simple prompts. A single individual can now produce what once required a small team: visual designs, basic software prototypes, even video scripts. Governments are also responding. Some are exploring AI regulation. Others are funding innovation to remain competitive. Labor markets are adjusting gradually. New roles are emerging around data, AI oversight, and system integration, while certain routine tasks are becoming less valuable. This is not speculative. It is already happening. Quietly, unevenly, but steadily. From an economic perspective, AI functions as a general-purpose technology, similar to electricity or the internet. It reduces the cost of certain cognitive tasks. When the cost of production falls, output can increase. That can lead to higher productivity. In theory, higher productivity allows for higher wages, lower prices, or both. But distribution matters. If AI increases productivity primarily for those who own the systems, the platforms, the data, the infrastructure, then gains may concentrate at the top. If AI primarily augments individual workers, enabling them to produce more independently, then it could broaden opportunity. There is also the question of bargaining power. If a company can automate part of a job, the leverage of workers performing that job may decline. Even if the job is not eliminated, its value could shift. On the other hand, AI can lower barriers to entry. A small entrepreneur with access to AI tools can compete in markets that once required significant capital or staff. A freelance designer can produce faster. A developer can prototype alone. A student can access personalized tutoring systems. Economically, freedom is closely linked to optionality, the number of viable paths available to you. AI may increase optionality for some, while reducing it for others. It depends on skills, access, ownership, and adaptability. Beyond economics, there is a more subtle question. How does AI change the way individuals experience their own freedom? Work is not only a source of income, it is also a source of identity. People derive status, meaning, and self-worth from what they are capable of doing. If AI can perform many intellectual tasks, writing, coding, analyzing, then the boundary between human ability and machine assistance becomes blurred. For some, this feels empowering. You can think at a higher level. You can execute ideas faster. You can focus on strategy rather than routine. For others, it can feel destabilizing. If a system can produce similar output in seconds, what does that say about the value of your effort? There is also a cognitive dimension. When AI tools suggest responses, complete sentences, generate ideas, they influence thought patterns. Over time, reliance may reduce the need to struggle through problems independently. Struggle is not always pleasant, but it often builds competence and confidence. Freedom includes the ability to act independently. If decisions increasingly rely on algorithmic recommendations, what to read, what to buy, how to invest, even how to phrase a message, autonomy may subtly shift. Yet the opposite can also be true. Someone with limited technical skill can now build a website, write a business plan, or create content. AI can compensate for gaps in education or resources. So on a personal level, AI both expands capability and introduces new forms of dependence. Before we continue, if you value this kind of calm, in-depth analysis, you can subscribe to Julian's View. Here we explore how technology and AI are shaping our economy and our sense of freedom, without hype and with nuance. At the societal level, the question becomes structural. If AI systems are controlled by a small number of corporations, they become central points of influence. Access to powerful models may shape who can innovate and who cannot. Data becomes a strategic asset. This could reinforce existing hierarchies. Wealth and influence may cluster around technology hubs and platform owners. But there is another possibility. If AI tools become widely accessible and affordable, they could democratize certain forms of knowledge and production. Education systems might integrate personalized AI tutors. Small businesses might compete more effectively. Creative expression might broaden. The impact on inequality is uncertain. Technological change has historically increased inequality in the short term, especially when skills are unevenly distributed. Over time, education and policy can adapt, but that adaptation is rarely automatic. There is also a cultural dimension. If AI systems mediate communication, filter information, and generate content at scale, they shape the informational environment. Public discourse may become faster, more efficient, but also more synthetic. Freedom in a society is not only about economic choice. It is about the diversity of perspectives, the resilience of institutions, and the ability of individuals to question dominant systems. If AI tools are transparent and decentralized, they may enhance freedom. If they are opaque and concentrated, they may limit it. Much depends not only on the technology itself, but on governance, norms, and incentives. So does AI make us more free or less? The answer is not obvious. AI expands human capability. It lowers the cost of knowledge work. It increases efficiency. It offers new paths for creativity and entrepreneurship. At the same time, it can concentrate power, reshape labor markets, and subtly influence how decisions are made. It can reduce certain forms of dependence while creating new ones. Freedom is not a fixed state. It evolves with technology. Perhaps the more precise question is not whether AI increases or decreases freedom, but who gains freedom, in what form, and at whose expense. As individuals, as workers, and as citizens, we are not just passive observers of this shift. Policies, business models, education systems, and personal choices will shape how AI integrates into daily life. Technology rarely determines outcomes on its own. It creates possibilities. And the direction those possibilities take depends on how societies choose to organize around them. The question, then, may not be whether AI makes us more or less free, but how consciously we decide to define freedom in an age where intelligence itself is becoming automated. That definition is still unfolding. Thank you for taking the time to think this through with me. These are complex questions, and they rarely have simple conclusions, but they're worth sitting with for a moment. If you'd like to keep exploring how technology and AI are shaping our economy and our sense of freedom, you can subscribe and join future conversations here on the channel. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a calm, clear rest of your day. And until the next discussion, This has been Julian's View. Julian.